Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. We're diving into some hot NFL news that's got everyone talking. The Dallas Cowboys just clinched a victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and their star quarterback, Dak Prescott, has made some interesting comments that are turning heads. So, let's break it all down and see what's really going on in the world of America's team. First off, let's set the scene. The Cowboys and Steelers game was a nail-biter, with both teams bringing their A-game to the field. But in the end, it was the Cowboys who emerged victorious, thanks in no small part to the leadership and skill of their franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott. Now, we all know Dak's been under the microscope lately, with critics questioning his performance and ability to lead the team. But after this win, he's not holding back, and he's got a message for all the doubters out there. In the post-game press conference, Prescott stood tall at the podium, still sweating from the intense matchup, and dropped a bombshell that's got the football world buzzing. He looked straight into the cameras and said, "I want to make something clear. This team, this organization, and myself, we're not here to meet anyone's expectations but our own. We're here to win, and we're here to prove that we're championship material." Now, let's break down what Dak's really saying here. This isn't just your typical post-game bravado. No, this is a quarterback who's been feeling the heat and is now firing back. We've seen Prescott face his fair share of criticism over the past few seasons. From questions about his ability to perform in big games to doubts about his leadership skills, he's heard it all. But with this statement, he's drawing a line in the sand. Think about it, Prescott's not just talking about himself here. He's talking about the entire Cowboys organization. By saying we're not here to meet anyone's expectations but our own, he's sending a clear message to the fans, the media, and even the team's own front office. The Cowboys aren't playing for the headlines or the hot takes. They're playing for themselves, for each other, and for that ultimate goal, a Super Bowl ring. But let's rewind a bit and talk about the game itself, because context is key here. The Cowboys vs. Steelers matchup was no walk in the park. The Steelers, known for their tough defense and resilient play, put up one hell of a fight. They pressured Prescott all game long, but here's where it gets interesting. Dak didn't crack. He stood tall in the pocket, made smart decisions, and when he needed to, he used his legs to extend plays and keep drives alive. One play in particular stands out. Late in the fourth quarter, with the Cowboys down by 4 and facing a crucial 3rd and long, Prescott showed exactly why he's considered one of the top quarterbacks in the league. The Steelers' pass rush was bearing down on him, but Dak kept his cool. He sidestepped one defender, rolled out to his right, and just when everyone thought he was going to run for it, he launched a perfect spiral downfield to CeeDee Lamb, who hauled it in for a game-changing touchdown. It's plays like these that remind us why the Cowboys invested so heavily in Prescott. He's not just a guy who can make the easy throws or manage a game. He's a playmaker, a game changer, and most importantly, a leader who doesn't shy away from the big moments. Now, let's circle back to Dak's post-game comments, because there's more to unpack here. When he talks about proving their championship material, he's not just blowing smoke. The Cowboys have been in a bit of a championship drought, and for a franchise that calls itself America's team, that's a tough pill to swallow. Prescott is clearly signaling that he and his teammates are tired of the almost there narrative. They're hungry for more, and they're not afraid to say it. But here's where it gets really interesting. Prescott's comments aren't just aimed at the outside world. They're also a message to his own teammates. By publicly setting the bar at championship level, he's challenging everyone in that locker room to step up their game. He's saying, look, we're good, but good isn't enough. We need to be great. This kind of leadership is exactly what the Cowboys need. For years, they've had the talent on paper, but something's been missing. That X factor, that spark that turns a good team into a great one. With these comments, Prescott is trying to light that spark. Of course, talk is cheap in the NFL. Prescott and the Cowboys will need to back up these words with consistent performance on the field. But that's where this victory against the Steelers becomes so important. It's not just a win, it's a statement. The Steelers are no pushovers, and by beating them, especially in the manner they did, the Cowboys are showing that they can compete with the best of the best. Let's also take a moment to appreciate the growth we're seeing in Prescott. This isn't the same quarterback who entered the league as a fourth-round draft pick, just hoping to make the roster. This is a man who's been through the fires of NFL scrutiny, who's faced setbacks and injuries, and who's come out the other side stronger and more determined than ever. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that Prescott suffered that horrific ankle injury that sidelined him for most of the 2020 season. Many wondered if he'd ever be the same player again. But not only has he come back, he's come back with a vengeance. His performance this season, culminating in this win against the Steelers, is proof that he's not just back to his old self, he's better than ever. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. It's just one game. One win doesn't make a season. And you're absolutely right. The NFL is a long, grueling journey, and the Cowboys have a tough road ahead if they want to make it to the playoffs and beyond. But that's exactly why Prescott's comments are so important. He's setting the tone not just for the next game, but for the rest of the season. It's also worth noting the timing of these comments. We're at a crucial point in the NFL season where teams are starting to separate themselves from the pack. The contenders are emerging, and the pretenders are falling behind. By making such a bold statement after a big win, Prescott is planting the Cowboys' flag firmly in the contender camp. But let's not forget, with great statements come great expectations. Prescott has essentially put a target on his back and on the backs of his teammates. Every game from here on out will be scrutinized even more closely. Every loss will be magnified, every mistake dissected. That's the price of setting such a high bar. So, what's next for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? One thing's for sure, all eyes will be on them as they move forward. Can they live up to the high standard Prescott has set? Can they translate this one big win into a string of victories? Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, the NFL just got a whole lot more interesting. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have thrown down the gauntlet, and now it's up to the rest of the league to respond. Whether you love the Cowboys or hate them, you can't deny that they've just made this season a whole lot more exciting.